Only 4 companies in the world are worth more than $2 trillion.
And it changes everything.
When people think of Nvidia, one name pops up right away: Jensen Huang. The famous black leather jacket, the packed conference halls, the keynote speeches that move markets and grab headlines. For a lot of people, Jensen Huang is Nvidia. And honestly, it's easy to see why. As co-founder and CEO, he's spent more than 3 decades steering the company through one of the most incredible growth stories in business history. What began as a small graphics chip maker has turned into one of the most valuable tech companies on the planet. In fiscal year 2026, Nvidia brought in $215.9 billion in revenue, a 65% jump from the year before, driven mostly by the world's hunger for AI computing. But here's the part of the story that usually gets forgotten. Nvidia was never built by just one person. The whole journey started on April 5, 1993, inside a Denny's diner in San Jose, California. It wasn't fancy. There were no investors lined up at the door, no headlines, no promises that any of it would work, just 3 engineers tossing around ideas over coffee. Those 3 were Jensen Huang, Chris Malachowsky, and Curtis Priem. Together, they had a hunch that graphics processing would become a huge part of computing's future. And at the time, that wasn't an obvious bet at all. The personal computer industry was still finding its feet, and plenty of tech startups died before they ever got a product out the door. The 3 founders reportedly started with around $40,000 between them. Looking back years later, Jensen Huang admitted that if he'd known just how hard the road ahead would be, he probably never would have started in the first place. He famously said Nvidia's odds of success were close to 0%. But they went for it anyway. Now, while Jensen Huang eventually became the public face of Nvidia, it was Curtis Priem who played a huge role in building the company's technical foundation. As Nvidia's first chief technology officer, Priem helped design the architecture behind the company's earliest products. He was a brilliant engineer and inventor, racking up nearly 200 patents over his career. So many of the early technical choices that shaped Nvidia's direction had his fingerprints all over them. And yet today, outside of tech circles, hardly anyone knows his name. In 2003, Priem retired from Nvidia and quietly stepped out of the spotlight. Unlike a lot of Silicon Valley founders who stuck around in the limelight, he went a different way. He sold most of his Nvidia shares and turned his focus to philanthropy, education, and scientific research. Years later, analysts figured that if he'd just held on to those shares, his fortune could have topped $70 billion. Instead, he chose a quieter life. It's honestly one of the most fascinating what-if stories in all of tech history. But Nvidia's rise wasn't only about its founders. One of the biggest names behind the company's modern success was Ian Buck, a computer scientist who joined Nvidia in the early 2000s. Buck led the creation of CUDA, a software platform that let developers use Nvidia's graphics chips for way more than just gaming. That breakthrough turned GPU into powerful tools for scientific computing, data analysis, machine learning, and eventually, artificial intelligence. These days, when companies build advanced AI systems, they lean heavily on CUDA. Without it, Nvidia probably still would have been a successful graphics company. With it, Nvidia became the backbone of the entire AI revolution. Then there was the crisis that almost ended everything.
To AI titans, they're now prophesying trillions of dollars in opportunity. Stratospheric predictions from Nvidia chief Jensen Huang.
And over the course of the next 4 or 5 years, we'll have $2 trillion worth of data centers.
And then there's Sam Altman's ambitious new venture.
Back in 1997, Nvidia was struggling badly. The company was burning through cash and getting hammered by tough competition. According to Jensen Huang, they were only about 30 days away from running out of money completely. At that make-or-break moment, a contract payment tied to Sega gave the company the funding it desperately needed. It bought Nvidia just enough time to keep developing its products and survive one of the scariest stretches in its history. Without that lifeline, Nvidia's story might have ended before it really got going. And that's exactly what makes Nvidia's journey so interesting. When we look back at successful companies, we tend to zero in on one person. It's simpler, it's easier to remember, and it fits that classic image of the lone genius changing the world. But the reality is almost always messier than that. Behind Jensen Huang stood co-founders who shared the original dream, engineers who built groundbreaking technology, executives who made the tough calls, and investors and partners who kept the lights on during the darkest days. The truth is, Nvidia wasn't built by one genius. It was built by a team of talented people whose combined efforts created something truly extraordinary. And maybe that's the biggest takeaway from Nvidia's story. The greatest companies in history are rarely the work of a single person. They're the work of many people pulling toward the same goal, even if only one name ends up on the magazine cover.